You're the person everyone calls when something goes wrong. You listen, comfort, and help, even when you barely have any strength left. And at the end of the day, you lie in bed with an empty mind and a heavy heart, wondering why closeness sometimes feels like exhaustion. The problem isn't that you're too sensitive. Your brain has been trained to seek acceptance like oxygen. Every smile, every thank you releases dopamine, the same chemistry that promises happiness. But what your nervous system never learned was how to hold boundaries when the reward is belonging. In the next few minutes, you'll understand why you always give too much to others and how to finally stop losing yourself in the process. Because real love doesn't start with saving others, it starts with not abandoning yourself. Have you ever asked yourself when was the last time you truly showed up for you? You're not exhausted because you've given too much. You're exhausted because you forgot that giving without boundaries isn't compassion, it's self-loss. Since childhood, we've been taught those who help are kind. Those who hold back are strong. And every time you put yourself last, you get a small piece of recognition. That soft drug your brain mistakes for belonging. But emotional generosity works like a bucket with a hole. No matter how much you pour in, if you don't fix the leak, nothing stays. And while you try to make everyone happy, your own well runs dry. The turning point isn't giving less. It's choosing more consciously when and to whom you give. Because energy that comes from guilt heals no one. Only the kind that flows from inner calm creates true connection. You say yes, even when inside you're screaming. Not because you want to, but because you're afraid someone might like you less if you say no. That quiet trembling in your stomach before you refuse isn't random. It's an ancient survival signal. Your brain was trained in childhood to link belonging with safety. When you were obedient, helpful, and easy to please, you were loved. When you set boundaries, you met coldness, criticism, or silence. So your nervous system learned, I'm only safe when no one is mad at me. This pattern is called the people-pleasing loop, a cycle of fear, guilt, and short-term relief. It's as if you're constantly keeping an invisible debt list. Someone needs you. You pay with your energy. But no one notices that you've been running on empty for a long time. Today, watch for a moment when you automatically say yes. Pause for a second, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, do I really want this? Don't answer, just feel. Even that small space between stimulus and response is freedom. It's the moment you start feeling yourself again. But as long as you believe love always requires sacrifice, your yes will never be real. In the next chapter, you'll understand why your brain keeps pushing you to betray yourself and how you can slowly rewire that reflex. Your brain loves harmony even when it destroys you. It wants to avoid tension, smooth over conflicts, restore peace. Every time you please someone, your limbic system gets a small hit of dopamine. It feels like peace, but in truth, it's just numbness. You become addicted to approval the way others get hooked on sugar or scrolling. Your nervous system registers rejection like physical pain because for your primal brain, exclusion still means danger to survival. So you smile, nod, help, explain, doing anything to calm that invisible threat. But what you interpret as love is often just fear in disguise. Imagine your inner compass as an old one that always points toward pleasing, even when you've long wandered off your own path. It shows you safety, but not truth. And every time you follow it, you drift further away from yourself. Today, when you notice you're doing something just to be liked, pause. Feel how your body reacts. A pressure in your chest, a slight pull in your gut. Quietly tell yourself, I am safe, even if someone doesn't understand me. That one reminder can reshape your entire nervous system, because real peace doesn't come when everyone likes you. It comes when you no longer have to betray yourself. And that's exactly what the next chapter will show you: how to set boundaries without feeling guilty. Setting boundaries feels like betrayal for many people. You can already feel the words on your tongue, but your body pulls back as if something inside whispers, "Don't do it, or you'll lose them." That inner trembling isn't a sign of weakness. It's the result of decades of conditioning. You were programmed to maintain harmony, even when it tears you apart. But in truth, every boundary is an act of honesty. It doesn't say, "I love you less," but rather, "I love me too." From a neurobiological view, setting a boundary activates the same stress response as a threat. Cortisol rises, your pulse quickens, your body believes you're risking rejection. But this is where healing begins. When you stay calm despite the fear, your nervous system learns that conflict doesn't equal danger. Each conscious no moment is like a small software update for your brain, a message that says, "I'm allowed to exist even if someone's disappointed." Imagine you're a tree. For too long, you believed love meant giving away all your branches. But roots only grow when you nourish yourself. Say no once today without explaining yourself. Maybe your voice shakes. Maybe you feel guilty. Do it anyway. Then take a deep breath and stay still. Little by little, something inside you quiets down, that constant urge to explain yourself. And you realize people who only like you when you sacrifice yourself were never your home. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to protect your energy, not by withdrawing, but through conscious presence. It's easy to pull away and blame the world. What's harder is to stay open without losing yourself again. Many people confuse boundaries with walls, but they're not the same. A wall shuts you off. A boundary connects you more clearly. It says, "This is where my space ends and yours begins." Only when you understand that difference can you give without becoming empty. Psychologically, your energy system works like a battery with two modes: charging and sharing. But most people stay stuck in sharing mode all the time. They only feel alive when they're needed. The nervous system confuses activity with worthiness. But if you never recharge, you start mistaking exhaustion for meaning. It's like using your phone at 1% battery until it dies. And you wonder why everything suddenly feels pointless. Today, invite yourself to pause for a moment. No meditation, no big ritual. Just sit without doing anything. Feel your body, not your thoughts. Breathe until you feel anchored back inside yourself. That's when recharging begins. The truth is, you don't need a self-care routine. You need self-respect. When you recognize that your energy is valuable, you naturally become more mindful of how you spend it. Not everyone deserves your presence, and that's not arrogance. It's soul hygiene. The more often you reach this state of inner clarity, the less you feel the need to prove yourself. You give because you're overflowing, not because you're empty. And that's what the next chapter is all about: how to give in relationships without losing yourself again. True connection begins the moment you stop bending yourself to fit. As long as you believe you have to make yourself smaller to be loved, you'll never experience real closeness, only compliance. Most relationships don't fail because of a lack of love, but because of a lack of authenticity. You only show the version of yourself that doesn't disturb anyone, and then you wonder why nobody truly sees you. But love that only exists when you hide parts of yourself isn't love. It's quiet theater. From a neuropsychological perspective, bonding happens through resonance. Your nervous system senses whether you're being real. When you fake it, you send subtle stress signals, and the other person unconsciously reacts with distance. Only when you show up as your true self can two nervous systems synchronize. That's the moment when you feel understood without needing many words. Imagine two circles. In the past, you placed your circle completely inside someone else's, merged entirely. Now, you're learning to hold it beside theirs, slightly overlapping. Where the two circles touch, that's where connection happens. Not in self-abandonment, but in genuine meeting. Try this today. Say something in a conversation that you'd normally swallow. Something small, honest, without worrying whether it will be liked. Notice what happens when you stop adjusting and simply stay present. You might realize you lose far less energy than you thought, because when you stop pretending, a different kind of peace emerges. You no longer have to prove anything, no longer have to control. You simply are, and that's enough. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to keep that calm, even when old patterns try to pull you back. At some point, you realize you no longer have to prove anything to anyone, that your worth doesn't rise when you give and doesn't fall when you say no. You begin to understand a quiet truth. Love doesn't grow from guilt. It grows from clarity. And clarity comes when you finally find the courage to stop betraying yourself. Your brain will still try to pull you back into old patterns, into the safety of approval. It will whisper, "Keep everyone happy and everything will stay calm." But now you know that calm was never peace. It was just adaptation. Now you're learning to stay in the unease without losing yourself. Your nervous system will find new pathways, ones where closeness no longer means danger, but choice. Make this your daily ritual. Before you give, pause for a moment. Don't ask, "Does the other person need me?" Ask, "Am I giving from fullness or from lack?" Because only what comes from fullness heals. Everything else drains you. Imagine standing at a spring. In the past, you gave away the water before you drank. Now, you drink first, and realize that by doing so, you have more to give than ever before. That's not selfishness. That's healthy self-leadership. Because in the end, self-care isn't withdrawal. It's the foundation for real connection. You're not giving less. You're giving more truthfully. And one day you'll see, you never really lost yourself. You were just there for everyone except you. Now, you're coming home. To you. If these words resonate with you, take a deep breath and stay with it. If this video helped you in any way, click subscribe and comment below. When was the last time you realized you were giving too much? Sometimes it doesn't take big changes. Just 2 mindful minutes a day to find yourself again. Here's your 2-minute plan to stop losing yourself in others. First minute. Awareness. Every time someone asks you for something, pause and turn inward before you respond. Feel your breath, your body, your gut instinct. Don't ask, "What do they expect?" Ask, "What do I need?" That tiny moment of stillness separates reaction from decision. Second minute. Return. At the end of the day, before you pick up your phone or distract yourself, place one hand on your heart and softly say, "I did my best today, and that's enough." Notice how your nervous system calms when you give yourself recognition instead of chasing it. Do this 2-minute practice daily. It will become quieter, clearer, more real. You'll begin to understand. Self-care isn't a break from life. It's how you learn to truly be in it. And over time, you'll realize you don't have to save anyone to feel connected. You just have to be present with yourself. In the end, you'll see, you never really lost yourself. You just kept putting yourself last. Real love doesn't come from giving yourself up, but from staying true, even in your truth. Because kindness without boundaries isn't compassion, it's exhaustion. If these words touched you, leave A and share in the comments. What will you do today to stop losing yourself? Subscribe to the channel if you want to learn how to give with clarity instead of from emptiness. And in the next video, I'll show you how to say no without feeling guilty. Until then, don't give less, give more consciously, because what comes from calm lasts.